Hello. Hello, hello. Is anybody here? Let me know in the comments. Happy Monday. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're well. If you are here, please let me know in the comments. That way I can see you. I've never done this on my phone before, so this is a first. But we are here today. Can you hear me? I got a thumbs up. Hey, Barbara. Barbara's here. We have Facebook joining us today and YouTube. So we did a YouTube stream and a Facebook stream. So this is a first. Hey Deborah, good morning to you. It's afternoon here. It's 12 noon here. And look how pretty the cover is for Wildlife Warrants and Weapons. It's out early. It was originally going to be out on the 29th, but there are some things that happen in this book that I thought readers would gasp about, and I have been right so far with the ARC reviews, but they are agreeing with me on what has happened. And I thought, well, since Blossom Barbecue and Blackmail is already written and it does help us move on from this one that needed to be done, then I went ahead and I have this up for pre-order as well. So now this one is actually going to come out on the 29th instead of this one. So this one will be out on the 22nd. This one will be out on the 29th. But anyways, always remember that Cozy Mystery, all my books can be read as standalones, even though they're in a series. What that means is that in a Cozy Mystery, the mystery is always solved, but you're always going to be going to the same set of characters in each book. And so in this particular series, you're always going to be with the Laundry Club ladies and Mae West at the Daniel Boone National Forest at the campground. You can see my table back there on the dock. I have piles of camper books there because today I am doing a lot of my promo pictures that you guys see on social media. So we film those once a month for those books. So this month I actually have 2 books that I'm going to have to do. I've never ever put out 2 books in my life. Hi, Linda. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I love your blog. Anyways, guys, we are here today because we are going to read chapter 1 of Wildlife, Warrants, and Weapons. And I'm so excited. I have got on my camp shirt. I also have Tanya Kappas merchandise, but I have been gone for the past week, and that'll be in the newsletter tomorrow. So be sure you check that out where we were. And I had some dirty laundry that I've got to get done today. So, anyways, I'm going to read chapter 1. So here we go. Chapter 1 of Wildlife, Warrants, and Weapons. And it's an ARC copy. So can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, I hope. Thumbs up if you do, or a heart, whichever one. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. A calmness had fallen over Happy Trails Campground after a very busy spring season. The seasonal rain had finally come to an end, leaving a trail of vibrant colors that painted the Daniel Boone National Forest. I'd been getting ready for the wedding of Bobby Ray Bond, my foster brother, and Abby Fawn, one of my best friends, over the last few months. Tomorrow was the big day, but today I had to focus on being maid of honor, me getting together with all the bridesmaids. I swear it was a made up gig. When Abby told me one of my duties was to host the event, I had no idea what I was in store for, much less the cost associated with such an event. Of course, after Mary Elizabeth had gotten word I was in charge of such a joyous occasion for a future foster daughter-in-law, Mary Elizabeth was mine and Bobby Ray's foster mother until she adopted me. She plunged her southern hands all up into my event, and here I stood in front of my camper van with a jug of Mary Elizabeth's sweet tea in each hand, about to make my way over to the large white tent she'd insisted we get for the festive occasion. Let's go. I looked up and down at Fifi, my toy poodle. Don't you dare jump in that lake, I warned. Fifi loved to jump into the lake and swim around with the ducks. I had no time between now and tomorrow, the wedding, to give her a bath. Did y'all think she really listened to me? Heck no. As soon as I took a step to go up to the front of Happy Trails Campground, the campground I owned, she darted off and took a flying leap in the air before I'd scream, "No!" Too late. She was happily paddling around with her head stuck out of the water, sights on the ducks swimming their way. "She never listens," I groaned and headed up the road to the front of the campground where the white tent was set up in the grass between the recreational center building and the tiki bar. A few times I glanced over at the lake and couldn't help but smile at Fifi. She'd stolen my heart a few years ago after she wiggled herself into a situation that left her homeless. If truth be told, Fifi was my best friend, not the laundry club ladies. "I can't believe it's finally here." Abby was standing up near the long banquet table at the far end of the tent, smack dab in the center of our group of friends, the laundry club ladies. Our group consisted of Bets Hager, Dottie Swaggart, and Queenie French, along with the honorary members of Mary Elizabeth Moberly and Dawn Gentry. "Here's our maid of honor now." Abby smiled so brightly. Her long brown hair was down and flowed over her shoulders, which was rare to see since she literally wore it in a ponytail almost every day. "It's gorgeous," she said to me. She waited for me to put the jugs of tea on the table before she gave me a giant-sized bear hug. "You do know this was all Mary Elizabeth's doing, right?" I didn't want to take credit where credit wasn't due. "I just put a little bit of Southern magic on it." Mary Elizabeth's fingertip grazed the string of pearls around her neck before she clasped her hands in front of her, resting perfectly against her pink, short-sleeved Lily Pulitzer cardigan, which lay at the waistband of her white Lily Pulitzer pants with little yellow and green pineapples embroidered all over them. Her eyes swept up and down me, giving me the judgy Southern mama vibe that my wardrobe of choice didn't suit the occasion. I pinched a grin, and instead of poking the bear, which in case this was Mary Elizabeth, I kept my mouth shut. "Tea?" I unscrewed the lid, filling the air with the sweet smell of sugary tea, knowing Mary Elizabeth had really outdone herself on this batch. I filled the glass tea flukes halfway since this was the Southern etiquette way to do things. I should know. Mary Elizabeth had spent a pretty penny on etiquette lessons for me, and though I rarely practiced them in my daily life, I knew when to put the lessons to good use when she was around. Underneath the white tent was a long banquet table, a small gaslit fireplace, and a s'more stand for later tonight. We were all staying in the campground at one of the bungalows I'd reserved for the special occasion. Henry Bryant, my handyman, Dottie, and I had strung thousands of twinkly lights around the top of the poles of the tent. We'd gotten them from Buck down at the Tough Nickel Thrift Shop in downtown Normal, the small rural Kentucky town we lived in. The lights were strung across the ceiling of the tent and dangled down like a little cobwebs of romantic light. If we weren't having the wedding at the Milkery, I should have suggested we have it here since it truly was a magical romantic feeling. The large barnwood table in the middle of the tent looked gorgeous with the white runner down the middle and was the perfect fit for the 15 long, stemmed, light pink tapered candles. The milk glass faces glowed with the flickering candles, and all the romantic vibes coursed through me as the sight of pops of hot pink, pale pink, and white roses. It truly was a magnificent event for Abby. The setup wouldn't have gone off without Mary Elizabeth's arranging, rearranging, and arranging again to give it the perfect Southern flair. She told me that if it wasn't every day that your son gets married, so she pulled out all the stops, even though Bobby Ray wasn't her birth child. She loved me and him like we were, and for that I was grateful. "Toast!" Mary Elizabeth nudged me with her elbow before she lifted her glass in the air. Oh, yeah. I, too, followed suit and lifted my glass up in the air. Everyone else joined me. "Abby, when I first met you, the day I rolled into town, a new RVer, I was broke and with no friends and what I thought was no family, you embraced me in my first hug." Long, happy sighs escaped everyone as I continued. "I remember you telling me that we hugged around here. You've done more than hug me. You took me in when I didn't deserve a friend. You did all this with your fantastic marketing skills when I didn't have a dime to pay." I glided the glass in the air, gesturing to the campground. "You loved a family that I didn't know still loved me." I glanced over at Mary Elizabeth, who happened to find me after I disappeared from her life many years ago, but all of that was under the bridge now. "And your heart opened up to a man who believed in me and became the big brother I needed." That's what you've done just for me in the past couple of years that I've known you. I can't imagine what you've done for everyone here, but I can say without a doubt that I can speak on behalf of our group of family. I didn't think of Bets, Abby, and Queenie as my family. I did think of Bets, Queenie, and Abby as my family. That we're all thrilled for you. The happiness that you wear is shown daily. The joy in your relationship is something that gives me hope that one day I will be happy too. Your relationship has become an example to me, and I'm sure everyone here. My voice cracked as I thought of my relationship with Hank Sharp, which had come to what felt like an end. I'm so excited and honored to have you as a sister that I can walk through the rest of my life with. That I also consider you my best friend. I held the glass up in the air a little longer, and there were a few sniffles, but I didn't look to see who was crying. To our beautiful, thoughtful, and amazing friend, Abby, may you continue to enjoy a lifetime of happiness. Cheers. There wasn't a dry eye amongst us, especially after everyone had gone through and given their own little speech. We all turned around after we heard some gravel spitting up underneath some of the tires and gave a little yelp of joy when the Pamper Camper Mobile Spa came around the corner and stopped in front of the tent. You didn't! Abby jerked around, dancing in place, squealing in delight after I gave her a hard confirmation nod. The spa idea was all mine, and I was happy to have it done for Abby. The door of the mobile spa popped open. There's our bride! Glenda Russell stood in the camper van. Her long red hair flowed down the side of her face with a strand of braids fixed around her head like a band. She was so lovely for an older woman. She had the most unusual features with the combination of her hair colored gray eyes and olive skin. Her, I see you there, she said. Tex, Glenda's partner, popped out of the RV as well. He was the local chiropractor. I see her. Get on over here, girl. She stepped up to the camper van, giving us a full view of all the fun things in store. But Tex, he stepped out of the camper van, giving us full view of him, shirtless, his usual attire. His shorts were so snug to his muscle bulged around with veins in his thighs. I was sure if Tex could get away with being a nudist, he would. I'm ready to do some Reiki. Vigorously, he rubbed his hands together and pointed to Mary Elizabeth. You're first. He grabbed a fold up Reiki table and left the camper van. He headed over to the far side of the tent where he quickly unfolded the table. Mary Elizabeth blushed and giggled before she did a little giddy up towards the makeshift Reiki station, while Tex got all the sheets, oils, and special smelly good things he liked to use on his clients. Is our bride ready? Glenda gestured for Abby to follow her into the mobile spa. There was an inward peace settling my gut before I heard some gravel spitting up underneath some tires. Since I was technically working the campground office and Dottie was enjoying another glass of sweet tea while sucking down on her cigarette, I looked over my shoulder to see if it was one of the campground guests and if they need something from me. It wasn't. The sheriff's car pulled up and around the lake. My heart sank when I saw it was Sheriff Hank Sharp. I wasn't really sure what I'd call him, but I knew it was no longer boyfriend. Chapter 1: Wildlife, Warrants, and Weapons. Okay, guys. What do you think about that? Crazy, huh? Got my Diet Coke. So, let me know what you're thinking. There's a little bit of lag time between the comments and me seeing them. So, let's see. It's going to be a crazy ride. But you know, guys, I know that y'all could see where that's leading after that last sentence. And it's a good thing, a really good thing. And I had told my Patreon group that I do a voice memo for my Patreon group at the first of each month. So they kind of know my thoughts. If you're in the Patreon group, your print copy is on its way. So be looking for that. The people in my Patreon group get a print copy of every book that I release. So that is on its way. But anyways, and I told them, I said, I, May and Hank have been super hard to write over the last 3 or 4 books. Um, and I don't know, maybe it's me. I don't like to be stifled. I mean, my husband does not at all try to tell me not to snoop or not to do things. He just kind of laughs and he says, "I love who you are." So I think that that little bit of me came out in May, and I feel like every time she had to turn around, Hank was always telling her, "Stop snooping, stop doing this, stop doing that," and it's kind of stopped being her. And I didn't like that. And so I thought, well, I would sit down to write them and try to write. Obviously, this isn't why you read my books. I hope it's not because I don't write romance. So that's why every book is a standalone because it's a solved mystery. And that's called the romance is called a subplot. So subplots are weaved in and out. Like your first subplot was May's backstory. That ended in 15, book 15, when you found out what happened to her parents. But also another subplot was Mary Elizabeth coming to town, Bobby Ray coming to town. Also, Mary Elizabeth's other foster child coming to town, and some of May's backstory. So her relationships will come and go like all of us. And so with May and Hank, when I sat down to write the last couple of books, it was difficult. It wasn't easy. They were really pushing back on me, and they did not want me to write them. And I know that that sounds crazy. That why can't you just write it? I can't, And for some, like it's interesting. I get into this zone, and what I just read to you, I don't even remember writing that. And I don't know where it comes from. It just comes to a zone. I don't remember writing it. I don't remember all of it. So I'm exploring it all with you today since this is the first time I read it in a couple months. But they wouldn't let me write them. And I knew at that point something had to be done. So hopefully you guys will accept what has been done and realize that this is just a subplot. Um, but we love our Granny Agnes. So she is obviously there. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Um, and so the reason why I moved up the date of release is because I wanted you guys to um, get it because I also have finished and am going to release Blossom's Barbecue and Blackmail. And that story kind of wraps up some questions that'll leave you hanging, and hopefully you will love it. But that's what I want to do. I just wanted to come on today and read chapter 1 while I'm here at the property, and I will see you guys on Wednesday when when I answer a reader question. And I love you all. I hope you have a fabulous Monday. If you're off because of the 4th of July and your company lets you off for the day, enjoy your day. I hope you're staying inside and reading. If it's hot, it is 88 here right now, but the humidity is crazy. So if our sweet May West was here at the campground, her hair would be out to here. So anyways, guys, I love you. Also, YouTube, thank you for joining as well. And I will see you guys here on Wednesday to answer a reader question. And don't forget, get your email tomorrow. There's some fun stuff in there. And if you're part of the Reader Challenge, remember that that is going on and there's a lot of fun prizes to be had. If you don't know what that is, check your newsletter tomorrow or scroll down here and Facebook and you'll see that, or check over at the Cozy Crew. Love y'all. See you later. Bye.